In April of 2006, I got the privilege of attending the world premiere of Hatchet at the Tribeca Film Festival with my friend Michael Hine, who were in the New York City Horror Festival.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. So I'm sure over the last 16 years, a lot of you have joined me in being a fan of Adam. So with the popularity of Hatchet, it appeared to a lot of horror fans that Adam Green was an overnight success. But that night in New York, that was electric, and a packed theater, and Dee Snider surprising Adam on stage was a phenomenal night. But it was the culmination of a lot of work. In 1999, Adam took $400 and made a rom-com, which he directed, produced, and starred in, called Coffee and Donuts. United Talent Artists was interested in the film, and Adam went to Los Angeles to pursue his dream. But things didn't exactly work out as he had planned, and for 3 years he worked in various jobs trying to get Coffee and Donuts as a TV show. During that time, he was working on a concept that he had come out at the age of 8 at camp, which came to be Hatchet and Victor Crowley. Now, after his overnight success, Adam could have rested on his laurels and been like, I'm an award-winning director, and my first horror feature was amazing. But he didn't. He continued to create. He wrote, directed, starred in a TV series, sequels to Hatchet, a very popular podcast, and some web content. And on top of that, some of the best damn Halloween shorts on the planet.
Yeah!
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm sure you would agree with me that Adam is a talented storyteller. And I'm grateful to have gotten the chance to watch his career from almost the beginning. But the Icon Award is not about the body of work an artist does for the horror fandom, but it's about the impact they've made on the community and on that fandom. So even in times of adversity and struggles, Adam strives to never let his fans down. For 9 years, the movie Crypt has been on Mondays, and Adam has never missed a show. Not to mention that when what Adam calls Coronapocalypse happened, he took to the internet for 30 days doing live streaming and offering everything he had ever done to his fans. So he's pulling his fandom together as the world itself fell apart. And add to that, for the past 6 years, that Adam's podcast has done with Joe Lynch and, of course, Arwen, the 48-hour juggernaut that is the Yorkie-thon, and has raised $150,000 for Save a Yorkie Rescue. So you see, not only is Adam an excellent writer, director, producer, and actor, he's a really nice guy.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. This is amazing. Thank you so much. For those of you who've ever seen me give a speech before, they're usually like 6 hours long. So, but because we're going to do a whole panel tonight, we're going to show you a bunch of funny stuff. I'm going to keep this really short. I've been like hiding in my office for the last like 4 years, I guess, 6 years. I mean, aside from Victor Crowley, which the fact that we kept that a surprise for you guys, I was just saying to Perry Shed, it was insane that that actually worked. And I did that tour, but I haven't been out since then. And then right as I was about to get back out there, then we had that whole, fucking plague. And that ruined the next 2 years. And so it was just getting harder and harder to get back out with people again. And so when Nathan contacted me and said they wanted to give me an award, and I was just laughing, like, an award. And so the joke, I keep texting friends a picture of the Christmas Story lamp saying it's a major award. Which, this is much cooler than the link. It just means so much to be recognized, especially for more than just the films. I've always tried to make our community a stronger, just better place. And it already was a great place. And I know that's why we all found it and found each other. So to keep this brief, I just want to say, in these current times where we keep sort of being led to think that we all hate each other, and anybody who has a different opinion is evil and wrong, and it's not really like that. And if any community can show everyone that, it's this one. You have people from all over, even just this weekend, people who came from all over the country, all different parts of the country, and we're all here together, and everybody is just the nicest, coolest person you would ever meet. We always say this on the podcast, like even if you go knowing nobody and just make the slightest bit of effort, you're gonna end up making a friend, because we're the freaks. We're the ones who like to see people get dismembered and throw up on themselves and get eaten by wolves and fall off chairlifts and hug Spanish puppets. I don't know what I'm thinking half the time, but you guys like it, so it's been working so far. But if there ever was a time to need conventions like this, it's now. And I'm so happy to see you all again. I got to sign for a few hours before this, and it just means so much hearing all your personal stories, what these films mean to you. Things like Yorkie-thon, the podcast, Corona Apocalypse, for those who were part of that at the very beginning of the pandemic, which was just amazing. For anybody who doesn't know, when the pandemic started, like most people, I'm like, how can I help? And unfortunately, I'm not smart enough to go help doctors and nurses. Like, I can barely do math. And I thought, well, I'll give away everything I've ever made. And so it started in mid-March, I believe. And so every day for 30 days at noon, I would do a live stream and just play one of my films, or episodes of Holliston, Scary Sleepover, Horrified, the short films. I think it started with me reading the book of I Survivor, which I didn't realize was going to be that difficult until I did it. But about 2 weeks into it, Robert Pendergraft, that was basically like his effects reel that you guys just watched, because he did all of it. He said, have you ever looked at the feed in the middle of the night? And it was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, streaming something every single day, because nothing had been encoded to stream. I realized that when I announced what I was going to do. So I would stay up all night getting the next day's show ready. And so I looked, and there were people from all over the world that were still talking to each other in the middle of the night. And for a lot of people, having to be in lockdown and away from their families and stuff, it was horrible, especially people who suffer from depression, which is a lot of people in our community. And so to see somebody in like the UK freaking out because they're alone and they can't reach anybody, and then 2 other Hatchet fans from Canada talking them down. And I never announced my presence because I didn't want to make the conversation about me, so I would just, watch. But just seeing how great people were to each other, it's the thing I'm proudest of with my career. And hearing from the people who put these conventions together, when afterwards they're always like, your fans are so incredible, like you attract such a wonderful element to these things. And that's the thing I'm proudest of. So to anybody in this room who's been inspired by my story or things that I've done from the films, your being inspired is all I ever could have wanted. All I ever wanted was to make people happy and make people's days a little bit better, and you've made that possible. I've never had marketing. I've never had like billboards and TV commercials and all the things that the big studio movies get, and yet so many of these things have succeeded beyond my wildest dreams, and that's all thanks to you. So I share this with everybody here, and it means so much more than you'll ever know.